Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my corner of the world, a place where we share stories that life etches onto the heart. Today's story is one of the most difficult I have ever told. It's a story about the purest love I've ever known and the most profound betrayal I have ever faced. It asks a painful question. What happens when the family you would die for decides to destroy you? If this story touches you, if it makes you feel the weight of its truth, please do me a kindness. Tap the like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel. Your support tells me that these stories matter, that we are not alone in our journeys. It allows me to keep bringing you these narratives from the heart. Now find a comfortable seat, my dear. Pour yourself a cup of tea. This is a long one. This is the story of how I raised my sister's orphans and how she sued me for their inheritance. The first time I held Lily, she was 3 years old, and her entire world had just been shattered into a million tiny, unrecognizable pieces. The phone call had come in the dead of night, that specific shrill ring that never heralds good news. My husband, Robert, of 40 years, stirred beside me. Eleanor? Who is it at this hour? My hand trembled as I picked up the receiver. The voice on the other end was clinical, detached. A police officer. An accident on the I-95. A drunk driver. A head-on collision. My younger sister, Marianne, and her husband, David, were gone. Just like that. But their children had survived. The memory of walking into that sterile, fluorescent-lit hospital room is etched into my soul with the permanence of a diamond on glass. 5-year-old Noah sat stiffly on a plastic chair, his little legs not reaching the floor. He held a teddy bear a nurse had given him, but he wasn't hugging it. He was just holding it, as if he'd forgotten what to do with it. His eyes, the same deep blue as his father's, were wide, dry, and impossibly empty. He looked like a tiny, beautiful statue of grief. And then there was Lily. She was curled in a crib, a small bandage on her forehead. When she saw me, her lower lip trembled. She didn't cry. She just whispered one word, a word that broke me and rebuilt me all at once. Auntie Elle. I opened my arms, and she scrambled into them, burying her face in my neck. Her small body was warm and shaking, and in that moment, as I breathed in the scent of baby shampoo and hospital antiseptic, I made a silent vow. To my sister, to David, to these two precious broken children, I will keep them safe. I will be their anchor. I will love them enough for everyone. Robert and I were on the cusp of our golden years. We'd planned quiet things, long mornings with coffee on the porch, traveling to see the autumn leaves in New England, finally getting around to all those books piled on our nightstands. We were going to be gentle with our time. But life, as it so often does, had other plans. We brought them home to our small, quiet house, a house that had echoed with the absence of children we were never able to have. Suddenly, it was filled with the stark, painful silence of two orphans who didn't know how to make noise anymore. The first few months were a blur of gut-wrenching sorrow and logistical nightmares. We had to explain death to a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. Noah developed a stutter. Lily woke up screaming every night. I remember one night, rocking her back to sleep, my own tears mixing with the strands of her hair. "Robert," I whispered, "what are we doing? Are we enough for them?" He looked at me, his own eyes filled with a terrible, loving exhaustion. "We have to be, Ellie. We are all they have. And so, We built a new life, a different life. We traded our quiet retirement for parent-teacher conferences and soccer practice. We spent our savings on braces and college funds instead of European river cruises. We gave up our free time to soothe nightmares and help with homework. It was the most beautiful, rewarding sacrifice I have ever made. Because slowly, ever so slowly, the light returned to Noah's eyes. His stutter faded. He started to laugh again, a real, genuine laugh that sounded like his father's. And Lily, my sweet Lily, she began to blossom. She would climb into my lap for no reason at all, just to whisper, "I love you, Auntie Elle." She started calling me Mom sometimes, a slip of the tongue that would make her go quiet and thoughtful. I never corrected her. How could I? In my heart, that's exactly what I had become. Robert and I watched them grow, our hearts swelling with a pride we never knew we could feel. We were their parents in every way that mattered. We were their safe harbor. We were their home. The years turned. Noah became a serious, kind young man with a passion for engineering. Lily flourished into a vibrant, artistic teenager. Our home was filled with laughter, with the chaos of homework and friends, with love, a deep, settled, earned love. We never hid the truth from them. We spoke of Marianne and David with love, keeping their memory alive as beautiful, distant stars in the children's constellation. We showed them photos, told them stories. Your mother had the same fiery spirit, Lily. Your father could fix anything, just like you, Noah. We wanted them to know where they came from, even as we cherished the family we had built. Then, 12 years after the accident, the past decided to knock on our door. It was a Tuesday. Lily was 16, practicing a new song on her guitar in the living room. Noah was home from his first year of college. The doorbell rang. I opened the door, and for a moment, the world stopped. Standing on my porch, silhouetted by the afternoon sun, was my sister, Marianne. She was thinner. Her face, once soft and round, was now all sharp angles. Her eyes, the same shade as Lily's, held a hardness I didn't recognize. She wore a sleek, expensive-looking pantsuit, a world away from the jeans and t-shirts I remembered. "Ellie," she said, and her voice was like cracked ice. My hand flew to my chest. "Marianne? My God, we thought, the police said—" "A mistake," she said briskly, waving a hand as if swatting away a fly. "A mix-up at the morgue. I was in a coma for months. Then, rehabilitation. It's a long story." She stepped past me into the house, her eyes scanning the living room, taking in the family photos on the walls, the well-worn couch, Lily's guitar. Her gaze was not nostalgic. It was appraising. Lily had stopped playing. She and Noah were staring, their faces a mask of confusion and shock. "Children," Marianne said, her tone unnervingly bright. "I'm your mother." The silence that followed was heavier than any I had ever known. That first dinner was a funeral for our peaceful life. Marianne talked nonstop, a torrent of words about her amazing recovery, her new life abroad, her successful business ventures. She barely touched the pot roast I had spent hours preparing, a recipe that had been our mother's. She spoke to Noah and Lily as if they were business associates, asking about their grades, their plans, with a clinical, detached interest. She didn't ask about their hearts. She didn't ask about their dreams. Later, as she was leaving, she paused at the door. "By the way, Ellie," she said, her voice dropping to a confidential tone that felt anything but. "I'll need to see the financials. The trust fund from our parents, the life insurance from David. I assume you've been managing it for the children. I'll need a full accounting. A cold dread, sharp as a shard of glass, lodged itself in my stomach. Marianne, that money, it's for the children's future, for college. It's all accounted for. Her smile was thin and did not reach her eyes. I'm sure it is. But I'm their mother. It's my responsibility now. She left, and the house felt colder, emptier. The weeks that followed were a master class in subtle erosion. Marianne began visiting more frequently. She would bring the children lavish, inappropriate gifts, a designer handbag for Lily, an expensive watch for Noah. She would make comments disguised as concern. Oh, Ellie, this neighborhood is so quiet. Don't the children find it boring? Community college, Noah? Surely, with your grades, you could aim for an Ivy League. Money shouldn't be an object. Lily, that guitar is so quaint. I'll get you a professional grade one. She was slowly, methodically, undermining our life, our simple, loving, enough life. The breaking point came on a bright, sunny afternoon, a cruel contrast to the storm gathering inside me. I was looking for a recipe card in Robert's old desk. He had passed away 2 years prior, a loss that had carved a new hollow in all our hearts. When I found it, a manila envelope I had never seen before. Inside was a single sheet of paper. It was a formal, legal document, a petition for guardianship, and beneath that, a lawsuit. Marianne Pierce versus Eleanor Vance. The cause: misappropriation of funds and undue influence. She wasn't just trying to take the children. She was trying to take the money we had so carefully safeguarded for them. She was accusing me of stealing from the very children I had raised. I sank to the floor, the paper crinkling in my shaking hand, the words blurred. Misappropriation. Undue influence. They were just words, but they felt like physical blows. This wasn't just a legal action. It was a character assassination. She was trying to paint me as a greedy, manipulative old woman who had preyed on orphaned children. I heard the front door open. Lily's laughter floated down the hall. Mom, I'm home. I aced my history test. The word mom now felt like a shard of glass in my heart. How could I tell her? How could I tell them that the woman who gave them life was now trying to legally destroy the woman who had given them a life? I told them that night. We sat at the same kitchen table where we'd had countless family dinners. Noah's face went pale. Lily started to cry. Silent, confused tears. Why? She whispered. Why would she do this? Because she sees you as a transaction, Lily, Noah said, his voice low and furious. She sees us, and the money that comes with us, as her property. We hired a lawyer, a kind, weary-eyed woman named Sarah, who specialized in family law. She reviewed the documents and sighed. It's a weak case, Eleanor. But it's aggressive. She's counting on you not having the funds or the will to fight. She's trying to drain you, emotionally and financially, until you give up. And drain me, it did. The legal fees started eating into the savings Robert and I had set aside for our retirement. The stress was a constant, gnawing presence. I lost weight. I stopped sleeping. The home that had been my sanctuary was now a place of anxiety. Every ring of the phone a potential new threat. Marianne played her part perfectly in public. She was the grieving mother, miraculously returned, only to find her children brainwashed by a controlling sister. She spun a web of lies so convincing I almost doubted my own memories. The nadir came in the judge's chambers, a pre-trial meeting. Marianne sat across from me, cool and composed in her designer suit. Our lawyer, Sarah, presented bank statements, receipts, a meticulous record of every penny spent on the children for 12 years. Marianne's lawyer, a slick, impatient man, dismissed it all. My client is not disputing that the children were fed and clothed. She is disputing the guardian's motives and her fitness to manage the substantial assets left for the children's benefit. Then Marianne spoke, her voice dripping with false sorrow. Your Honor, I just want what's best for my children. I want to give them the life they were meant to have, the life their father would have wanted for them. It was a low blow, a reference to David, a man she had rarely spoken of with anything but disdain when he was alive. The judge, an older man with a tired face, listened patiently. Then he did something unexpected. He looked at Marianne's lawyer. Counselor, I've seen the financial records. They are impeccable. What I haven't seen is any evidence of a relationship. Mrs. Vance, has your sister had any contact with the children in the last 12 years? I found my voice, though it was a whisper. No, Your Honor. Not a phone call, not a birthday card, nothing. The judge nodded slowly, then he looked at our lawyer. Ms. Jones, the children are 16 and 18 now, are they not? Yes, Your Honor. The older one, Noah, is legally an adult, and the younger is of an age where her wishes carry significant weight. I think it's time we heard from them. A new court date was set. The day of the hearing, my heart felt like it was going to beat its way out of my chest. The courtroom was cold and imposing. Marianne sat at her table, refusing to look at me. Then Noah was called to the stand. He walked up, tall and steady, and took the oath. My brave, beautiful boy. Marianne's lawyer began, his tone condescending. Noah, you love your aunt, don't you? Of course I do, Noah said, his voice clear and strong. And you're grateful for everything she's done for you? I am. So grateful, in fact, that you would say anything to help her keep control of your and your sister's inheritance, wouldn't you? Noah didn't flinch. He looked the lawyer straight in the eye. No, sir. I'm here to tell the truth. The truth is, Eleanor Vance is my mother. She is the one who held me when I cried for my dad. She is the one who stayed up all night with me when I was sick. She is the one who taught me how to shave, how to drive, how to be a man. She sold her own car to pay for my first year of college. He turned and looked directly at Marianne. You are the woman who gave birth to me, and for that, I will always be thankful. But you are a stranger. You left us. You abandoned us. And now you've come back. And the first thing you've tried to do is destroy the only real parent we have left. You're not here for us. You're here for the money. The courtroom was utterly silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Then it was Lily's turn. She was crying softly as she took the stand. When she spoke, her voice was small but firm. I don't want to live with her, she said, pointing a trembling finger at Marianne. My home is with my mom. With Eleanor. If you make me leave, I'll run away. I swear I will. The judge didn't need to hear any more. He dismissed the petition for guardianship immediately. He ruled that the trust funds would remain under my management, with Noah, now an adult, as a co-trustee, until Lily turned 21. But the true victory didn't come from the judge. It came as we were leaving the courtroom. Marianne strode over to us, her face a mask of cold fury. You've turned them against me, she hissed at me. Before I could respond, Noah stepped forward, placing himself between me and his birth mother. No, he said, his voice quiet but filled with a finality that echoed in the marble hall. You did that all by yourself. Don't contact us again. He put his arm around Lily, and they turned their backs on her. Together, the three of us walked out of the courthouse and into the sunlight. There was no dramatic reconciliation, no tearful reunion. Marianne disappeared from our lives as suddenly as she had arrived. We heard through the grapevine that she had moved abroad again. The lawsuit had been her final, desperate gamble, and she had lost. The money she had so desperately wanted, it's still there. It paid for Lily's art school. It helped Noah with a down payment on his first home. It's their legacy from their father, protected by the mother who chose them. The inheritance she was truly suing for wasn't the money. It was the love, the respect, the family. And that was a fortune she had irrevocably squandered long ago. My dear friends, family is not a matter of blood. It is a matter of choice. It is a matter of who shows up, who stays, who holds you in the dark and celebrates with you in the light. I didn't lose a sister that day in the courtroom. I had lost her 12 years earlier. What I gained were two children who chose me, just as I had chosen them. And that is the only inheritance that ever truly matters.